roulette, let's stare in this head. Headlines about the ones who stare and laugh away. It feels like hypnotized, this feeling inside. Memories of good old days are just forgotten. Time has changed, time has changed.
Hey, how's it going? So I'm going to attempt to make a response video, not a direct response video, just a indirect one in regards to a popular topic that's going around with the China vloggers these days on YouTube, which is nationalism in China, and the fact that a lot of people are claiming that it seems to be on the up and they're experiencing a lot more hostility from the locals wherever they live. A few popular vloggers, Serpent ZA, Lauai 86, I can't remember, Lauai something, and Loser Lauai in Shanghai or China or whatever, they've posted some videos talking about this. I know Serpent ZA and Lauai 86, they live down in the south, in Shenzhen area, Guangzhou or Guangdong or Huizhou. Yeah, and they seem to be both posting similar videos about it. And Loser Lauai, he kind of always sort of leaning towards negativity, but kind of truth at the same time, you know. I do like his videos because it kind of talks about the things that some other vloggers don't want to talk about. You know, he puts it out there, he's honest about it, and he puts his feelings out there too, which is good, I think. But yeah, anyway, it's my opinion, you know. I've lived here for nearly 2 years now, so I think I'm not entitled, you know, nobody's, you know, whatever, my opinion on the matter. I have an opinion, so, you know, I've experienced, I'm not sure whether you'd call it, this is my whole thing, you know. I've never experienced anything terribly racist, as you'd like to call it, you know. I mean, sure, this behaviour would be condemned in the West, but it's commonplace in China. Does that make it racist, or is it just a cultural difference? You know, that's one argument. I'm going to go down this street because it looks nice and quiet and shaded. So yeah, I mean, things that happen to you every day. You know, just walking down the street, minding your own business, you know, you'll get people stare at you. That's always been the case in China. People pointing at you, saying things under their breath about you, or just openly about you, thinking that you don't understand. You know, most of the time I don't. My Chinese isn't great. I can pick up little bits of what they're saying. And yeah, I think that comes down to, I was talking to some friends the other night, that's a cultural thing. You know, we were talking about the Chinese people they're pretty China-centric, you know. They don't know or seem to care what's happening in the rest of the world. It just doesn't seem to bother them. And we were talking about, you know, they don't understand the cultures we come from. You know, if you walk down the street in England and you say something under your breath but so they can hear you about them, then, you know, they're going to say something back to you. But in China it's commonplace just to kind of say what's on your mind. So if somebody's fat, you say, oh look, they're fat, you say it openly to them, you know. Even my girlfriend Amy's done this about people, like basically in front of them, and it's embarrassing, you know. And I say, you know, you can't do that, you know, we're supposed to be going to England in 2 weeks, you know, you say something about somebody in England and they overhear you, you know, you just can't do that kind of thing. You know, but it's just a cultural ignorance thing. But, you know, even the wealthy Chinese, they're not really exposed. They're exposed to movies from the West, and that's about as far as most of their education goes, you know. They seem to, I don't know, they just don't have a clue how it works in the West, and that's why they have so many problems when they go abroad, I think. You know, I've been teaching at some wealthy families' houses before, and one time I called the mother on WeChat video just to talk about the class and that. This is an incredibly wealthy family, and she said, "Oh, I'm on holiday," and I said, "Oh, where are you?" And she said, "Oh, I'm in a black man's country." But what she meant is, I think she meant Mauritius or some Caribbean island like that, but she called it a black man's country, which is obviously unacceptable. But she's like ridiculously wealthy, so it doesn't matter what background they're from or anything like that. They still do these very ignorant, say these very ignorant things, very politically incorrect. Okay, so what else is there? Yeah, apart from everyday things like that in Shanghai, you know, people say, other vloggers in Shanghai would say, "Oh, you live in Shanghai, you know, it's you might as well be in London or Paris or Tokyo or New York." But you know, the truth is there's 30 million people here. That's what they're saying the numbers are at the moment, 30 million, give or take. And there's not 30 million Shanghainese people here. You know, about, I'd say a good 20 to 25 million of those people are not Shanghainese. They're immigrants from the countryside, from very poor rural areas. And so yeah, you know, the center of Shanghai, it's very cosmopolitan, very futuristic and all very nice. But you know, I live in Minhang. It's got the highest population of Chinese migrants in Shanghai, and it's a bit more ghetto. Not ghetto, it's still kind of quite nice, but you know, you can definitely see, you know, when I've been in the center of the city all day and then I come back to my train station. Oh, there's a pool house here. Play some snooker, play some pool. Got a little gym in there too. It's quite cool. So yeah, you know, when I've been at People's Square or Jing'an or Xujiahui and then I come back to mine, you know, it's like stepping into a different world, you know, still basically in Shanghai, but it's really outside the city, you know. Yeah, so yeah, that guy was just like staring at me, properly staring at me. I don't know why. Probably because I'm walking down the street with a camera. So I've got a monk coming towards me. I bet he's going to speak to me and try and give me something. So, nice river here. 你好。
我平安，我都不。
Hello.
Hello, hello.
没有。不需要，谢谢。Gave me a card. I don't know if I'm going to give it back to him, but he wanted some money from me, and not being of the Buddhist persuasion, I didn't really want to cross the road. So yeah, I'm trying to talk about nationalism. It's hard when you're kind of put on the spot. So yeah, incidents I've had in China in regards to nationalism, you know, nothing major, to be honest. Maybe these other vloggers are going through, you know, they've been in China a lot longer than me. Maybe they can see the difference. Maybe it was a lot better a few years ago. But the way I see it, nationalism is a worldwide problem. You know, in England it's worse than ever. They've just had the Brexit vote, so now everybody's coming out of the woodwork. All these racists are coming out of the woodwork saying, oh, all these foreigners should leave the country. That's not really what the vote was about, you know. But yeah, I don't know, I'm not a political scientist or anything. but that's not really what it was about, and everyone's just come out of the woodwork. So, you know, there's news of things circulating online about Chinese nationalism, you know, on the social media sites, and maybe that's it, you know, maybe that's stoking the fires. You know, the second somebody kind of steps up and says something, then all of a sudden everybody says, oh yeah, I feel the same way, that's how I think they should all leave too. So maybe I think that might be it. It's kind of like a snowball effect, you know. One person says it and then everybody jumps on the bandwagon. It's kind of, I've always sort of seen it as cowardly, you know, like they don't have the balls to say what they really think unless somebody else is kind of shouting it from the rooftop, and then they pipe up and put in their 2 cents. Yeah, it's annoying. But yeah, I think that's what's happening, to be honest, you know. Another thing I think is, like, these people who claim to have these nationalist opinions, or even people, like, you know, everyday life in China, you get people look at you or say stuff to you, but who cares, you know? Like, why do I care what this lady thinks of me, you know? If she says something under her breath to me, why does it matter? It doesn't affect my day. I don't know her. You know, who cares, you know? Same in England, you know, somebody says something to you because you look different, or you talk different, or you're from a different place. Ultimately, who cares, you know? You choose to live in this country, and you know, you just gotta roll with the punches. What else is there? Yeah, so who cares? Anything else? Look at the river while I think. What's going on over there? It's about a 10-minute walk from my school. I just came here to get away from the noise and that. Oh yeah, also, you know, all these people that would say something to you in the street, the chances are they've never met a what they call a foreigner like myself. They've never had any engagement whatsoever with anybody from a different country. None whatsoever. They're just saying the first thing that comes to their head and not thinking about it. There's no thought process behind it whatsoever. Nothing, you know, it's just... That's what makes me laugh. Like, it really doesn't bother me. I can't say I've ever gotten angry about it. Maybe if people say it like openly to me, I'll just kind of laugh at them, like patronizingly laugh at them. And you know, I'm not afraid to say that because it's funny, basically. Now, if somebody's that brazenly ignorant, then fair enough. You can be brazen enough to laugh at them, right? If somebody said something incredibly daft and ignorant in the West, you would probably do the same. You know, there's no point trying to talk somebody like you can't talk people off the moon. There's no founding for their beliefs. You know, maybe there's been some stories circulating online that were all demons or something in white skin. I don't know, something crazy. But, you know. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to say, you know. Ultimately, who cares? And it's not a big problem. Wow, I've just realised that I've walked all the way around back to my school. It's quite handy, I don't have to walk all the way back now, so yeah, so I hope you've taken my opinion from this. No, it's not gonna, if things ever got really bad, which I don't think they will. I mean, Chinese people are pretty non-violent, basically. I'm jumping way ahead. Like, if it ever got to that point, which I really don't think it will, the Chinese are really unconfrontational, and maybe they will mutter something under their breath. The second you ever said something to them, they would disappear, you know, unless there was lots of them and they feel like they could put up an argument with you or something like that. But otherwise it wouldn't, I don't think it'd ever come to anything like that. But you know, if it ever did, then you know, the doors are always open. I'm not saying that these other vloggers want to leave or should leave, you know, that would be ridiculous of me to say. You know, I've been a fan of a lot of their vlogs for a while, you know, Serpent ZA. I've been in China for 2 years. I've been watching his vlogs, if you like, for maybe 5 years, I'd say 5 or 6 years. You know, I used to love his old school ones where he'd just sit on the table outside in Shenzhen with a beer and just blah blah blah, talk about, you know, different topics in China. I love that kind of stuff, you know. I wouldn't say it inspired me to come to China, but it definitely, because I wanted to come before anyway, but it definitely gave me some information about the country. And you know, that's what I try to do on mine. You know, mine is sort of different style. I tried to give some information about Shanghai. It's still a fairly new YouTube channel, mine, but yeah, you know, if you're looking to come to China and you're seeing these other vlogs about nationalism, you know, yeah, depends what you class as nationalism. I don't see anybody like they do in England marching through the streets telling all the foreigners to go home or anything like that. You know, you get some funny looks or some ignorant people saying some ignorant stuff, but the majority of the people, I wouldn't say the majority of them, you know, there's a good amount of them who are sort of middle class, educated people. They seem to be the most down to earth. They're the kind of people I get on with the most, you know, not the incredibly wealthy. Just like my students' parents, you know, from the training center, I have a good relationship with them. You know, a lot of them work for American companies or Western companies, and they like to talk to me, and you know, I like to communicate with them, tell them how their students are getting on. And you know, a lot of them speak really good English, and they all seem really great, you know, really normal kind of people, you know. They're the kind of people that I like to deal with in China. No, it's still everyday people, you know. People in shops can be really friendly, you can go in. My Chinese still isn't that great, so you know, you can have a laugh while you're trying to buy a t-shirt and tell them what size you want and what colours. Still, everyday people can be really nice, or you're just trying to buy a bottle of water, you know. People just talk to you and be really friendly. One day, last week, I was waiting for the elevator, and some lady, quite old, maybe 60 plus, 65, I think she must have been, she had one of her kids at one of the training centres, and you know, she started chatting to me in Chinese because I was putting some Chinese food in the bin, so she was asking me if I like Chinese food, you know, where I'm from, blah blah blah. You know, I love all that, it's great. And you know, I have much more of those experiences than I do of people being nationalistic and racist towards me. You know, I don't know. I don't know what these other guys have experienced, you know. Hopefully they're not. Hopefully whatever they're going through sort of chills out, and you know, they can get back to their lives, because that's the first time I've seen those guys post those kind of videos. So yeah, it's not good. But yeah, hopefully it all sorts itself out, you know. Hopefully it's just a phase and they can get back to doing what they want, doing what they like, enjoying life. So yeah, but yeah, apart from that, I did have a weird incident the other night when me and Amy were walking. It wasn't a nationalistic incident. It was just something that happened that I was knowing about. So me and Amy were walking home. We'd just been in, where had we been? We'd just been to the city. It was a national holiday, so both of us were off work. So we went to the city, and when we were coming back, it was kind of raining. The streets, there wasn't too many people. There was this couple walking up ahead of us, and maybe about 10 meters ahead, and they kind of stopped where they were, and they were kind of arguing a bit. And then the guy started swinging shots at his girlfriend, and I was like, what's going on here? And you know, I've heard stories about you don't get involved, blah blah blah, you know, but this guy was swinging shots at his girlfriend. She was only a small girl, maybe about 19 years old, and he looked about 25. He was a bit of a small guy, you know, but he looked a lot older than she was. And I said to Amy, if he hits her, I'm gonna hit him back, basically. Which I probably wouldn't have. I probably just would have thrown him on the floor or something, you know. It's not a good idea to... Me and my friends were talking about that the other night, you know, no matter what happens, don't hit somebody, because they're always going to take the Chinese side, the police. They don't care. The police will agree with you, what you did was right, and then they'll still throw you out of the country. So, but yeah, I wasn't obviously happy about that, so we got close to them as they were a bit ahead of us, and he was still, he threw another couple of shots. They all missed, and then I think one sort of caught her on the chin. So I was just like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, stop it. And then he just looked really shocked when he saw me. And then Amy went to him in Chinese. She went, what are you doing? You know, you shouldn't be hitting your girlfriend. He said, oh no, I'm not. He said back to Amy, oh, I'm not hitting her. We're just playing, you know. And Amy said, you're not playing. We just saw you. We just saw you hit her. And his girlfriend, the guy's girlfriend, said, oh, thank you. And then they kind of, you know, we didn't want to do anything else, you know, there's nothing really else to do, so we just walked away. Well, we walked ahead of them, and then his girlfriend walked off, and he was kind of chasing after her, blah blah blah. And I just kind of wanted to get away from him, because, you know, maybe he was a bit of a Looney Tune who'd come back and like stab me or something. So I just kind of crossed the road, and then they kind of disappeared, and then the guy appeared up ahead of me. Well, he just kind of appeared out of nowhere again, and he was like, what did you say to me? He was like, did you say some bad words to me? He said this to Amy, that I said to him, apparently. And Amy was like, no, we just told you to stop hitting your girlfriend. And the guy was like, what are you talking about? I wasn't hitting my girlfriend. And we were like, we saw you. And the guy went, oh, I thought you said some bad words to me. And we were like, no. And the guy was like, and I was like, what, have you got a problem, you know, whatever. He's like, then he just kind of walked away, you know, kind of swinging his arms, giving it the big one. It was pathetic, you know. But that's a thing, you know, that's commonplace. You know, these guys, they weren't Shanghainese, they were sort of, you can just tell they're kind of migrants or whatever from a rural area. I'm not looking to say that's bad or anything, it sounds bad, but, you know, that's what they were, you know. Not massively educated, probably, stuff like that, and that's, you know, commonplace in those communities. It's normal to do that, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for that video. You know, if you've experienced anything like that, you know, I'd be interested to hear about it. So if you have any comments about what I've said, I'm sure I've missed some out. I always feel like I have. Otherwise, you know, I apologize for rambling. When it comes to making the videos, I always forget what I want to say the second I press record. I find myself tripping over myself, tripping over my own words. I should probably make some notes. But yeah, you get the gist of it, you know. Hopefully it's not infectious all over China, this nationalism, and, you know. Okay. Peace.
I feel like there are less, but still in this head. by the ones who stole my life away.